definition of your situation is that you are a risk unto yourselves.
Right.
A child, right? Let me be your first test case. Let mom be your first test case. These things help. The second point I will say...
That's a 2, yeah, for the parents there, right?
Is to dating, if you ever look it up, you find that it is necessary that there be wisdom and maturity. Now, I don't have enough time to go through the definition of maturity, but I'll tell you, there is a guy here called Dr. Tim Elmore. You can Google him out. He's got a very good definition of what maturity is. But a mature person is called an adult. That is not in doubt. That is in the dictionary. The second is, for me, I would want to hear you say, I less. Right? I want to hear your discussion start by concern for others, not for just yourself. To me, that's maturity. I want to know how you make your decisions. If your decisions are based on what comes from inside of you, then you are gravitating towards maturity. As long as your decisions are influenced by what comes from outside of you, I got a problem with that. In fact, when you grow beyond this age, the risks to your life become yourself and the external world. So you still need a parent. At this age, I still have my mother there. And I go to my mom when I have motherly issues. So that's what I would say in that area. The third is wisdom is acquired over time. So what experience do you have that tells me that your thinking has been tested? If you don't have that, then I have a problem with putting an age to your dating. I want to see that you pass those tests as a model, and then you have a safe landing into dating. Right. That's my love to you as a father and as a parent who means well for the next generation. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We're doing a quick round, and then I'll be inviting Pastor Chiro to take center stage. Your last round.
Thank you. Ma'am, just to argue with your point about us not having anything like money per se to date, God created man to be with woman before money was even created. And also, even if I were to have money now, I'd expect that the woman that I'm dating, even if I have nothing at all, she is to still be with me. So I feel like money shouldn't even be a factor in this topic right now.
We're here, Blantyre Baptist Church, and in live on Power TV, creativity that dazzles. I think that the Power TV talks about creativity that dazzles. I think that's creativity that is dazzling me right now. I'd rather believe it. Was there money there? Okay, you have the floor. Continue.
I also wanted to say, like you said, you can't say that we are not ready, we're not at the right age, because maturity doesn't come with age, like you said, sir. It comes with experience. So I believe that even I myself, where I am right now, I'm capable of treating a woman better than certain men out there.
That's the opinion, eh? The teens have a voice, okay? Yes, thank you. So he feels he can even treat better than other men the way they're treating their wives. Huh? All right, you're done, yeah? Let's lay out your point, your closing points.
Okay, I've heard all what you guys have told us, but he said we could take him as a first, a spirit say that we could take him as if we're dating him as an example, right? Mm-hmm. But the way, for example, I would be, where we talk with our parents, I'm telling my mom that we're talking about that, and then I'm telling my mom, okay, there's this guy, the only reason, not the only reason, but one of the things that make him special, you know, he makes me laugh and stuff. And then, you know, parents would be like, oh, doesn't dad make you laugh? Dad makes me laugh, but he doesn't give me butterflies. There's a difference.
Butterflies?
There's a difference.
Right.
There's a difference between the way we communicate between, for example, parents and the children. It's a difference between the way I talk with me and him. I'm not saying there's a him though. I'm just saying that it's different the way we communicate. I won't be able to open up to you the way I'm able to talk with my peers and all that. So we've heard your point, but yes, it's in our generation. It's something different to say. I can't tell mom that I need this and this. It's going to be something complicated.
Right. I'm telling you, and at the Baptist church we said we've got the teen Sunday. When there's a sermon on Sunday soon after offering, we take the teens. The church has introduced a church because where we're giving them scripture, they answer and they get to respond so they can understand from creation to all these things. This is why the church. Yes, continue.
Okay, so it doesn't mean that just because another child did something, doesn't mean that I'll also do the same. No,
right.
I'll actually treat her more better than how that other person did. I'll actually help her through thick and thin.
Pastor was just officiating a wedding. I think he was just saying the verse that through thick and thin in the morning before the debate. Muga career remotes. I'm not talking about, but through thick and thin, I'll be there for her. Yes, my dear, continue.
That means that not all children are the same. No,
right.
We're actually different. So don't think just because this one done this, I'll also do the same.
Right.
No, it doesn't mean that.
Natasha, close it up for us.
I get what you said, and I'm really thankful that you've told me 2 or more things that I didn't know. But I want to ask, like, okay, let's say I haven't been dating all along, which I haven't. Okay, I haven't been dating. So I start dating. You say that I'm mature, and you say that at 18 it's where somebody's mature enough to do stuff, right? Or even when they're maybe doing the alcohol stuff, they're right underaged, maybe 18, stuff like that. So I started dating. I have no experience, and somebody broke my heart, right? And I can't go to my mom and tell her this and this, because I know that she'll be like, I'll just forget it, it's nothing. Then I get depressed, and so I end up killing myself. If maybe back then I just had just a little bit of experience
of a heartbreak.
Yes, at least I had, yeah, see. Or if I had somebody, or my parent was there with me, because we as kids, this generation, it's actually different from yours. Yours was something else because you had maybe no phones, no this and that. But as for us, our mentality, what we know, it's through the internet and so, and we want to experience stuff, and want to experience stuff starting from now to, we might end up maybe doing some bad behaviors and so, but at least we know that if we make a mistake, we're not going to do it again. So
okay, thank you so much. So we wrapped up this question, and now they're saying they want to start dating at 12 or 13 so that they can be gaining experience of how to handle emotions, how to handle hormones by the time they're 18 or 21. That's interesting. We finish at that point because then pastors coming in, the resident pastor of Blantyre Baptist Church, Pastor Reverend Chiwa, you've given us your opinion from since morning. Parents, you've given us your opinion, and now we want to hear what does the church say and what is God's opinion in all this. We've also heard from the medical practice, we've heard from the professionals in mental health and the young people, and we just want Pastor to come and cement it up. Since morning you've been sitting there patiently. I'm sure some more agitated at some point. This is your time, and ladies and gentlemen, let's give it a hands up for the world job done. So we have Mrs. Lucia Mugo, Mr. Masimba Mugo, Ms. Catherine Nkwazi. Thank you so much on the parent side. And then on the teen side, Natasha, the one who says she wants to experience, not her, she's speaking on behalf of the teens, Natasha Manda. And then we have Leonard Mbuzi. He says he can handle a woman now. Better than you fathers were in here. Give him a chance. And he's serious about it, yeah? Yeah. And then we have Tabelo. Tabelo says, yes, we hear you, but I want that special person. You don't give it to me. The butterflies. This is the voice of the teens. Please do not take the numbers in here. Right. You have a point. Right. And then we have Tumbiko Kuwali says, no, doing Adam and Eve, there was no money. Don't talk to me about money. I can handle a woman without money. Eh? So the teaching that we're giving the children, you see, they're also understanding creation says like there's no money, so they're learning different things. To the last point, as pastors come, there's a point that the gentleman, please come close if you can. Sure, and then Pastor Chira will also be inviting you to come and take center stage. I will not respond, and but I will have you take the microphone. Let's give the microphone. Who's got the microphone? Yes. He wants to have a point before Pastor comes and responds.
All right. I am Graham Kosi, that's my name. I'm almost young as everyone who's in here, like the young ones. So I've heard them, they were saying like, it's okay for us to date while we're young. Actually, I'm a victim of that. And I'm just in the early 20s actually. It's not that I'm that old. Don't be scared of this. All right. When I was 20, I made my first mistake. That mistake came up just because I was having that mind of like, okay, because I'm young, and then I'm supposed to test things. That you're saying that you want to test them. I was trying to test them, and I faced it. Okay, so the point is, the problem is, I should say, the problem is we want to be raised as white kids, but we're black actually. Let's accept that we're black. Okay. So the internet tells us a lot. I started using internet back in 2010. That was when I started experiencing the internet. Okay, so you're saying like, okay, we learn things on the internet, blah blah blah. But I started learning things on the internet way back on a keypad phone actually, not these touch things that you're using right now. So I was watching things there, you know, okay, I watched a TV show whereby kids are dating, you know, this is my love, blah, blah, blah. But I tried to have a girlfriend, okay? So I was like, okay, it's fine. But my parents weren't, they weren't allowing me to do that. So I was like, no, they're from the old ages, they're from the Stone Age actually. We call you Stone-aged parents actually, that's what you need to know. So let me just wrap it up. So at the time that I was 20, I had my girlfriend. So we did the thing. She got pregnant. My parents, they were like, okay, it's fine, it has happened, okay? But the parents from the other side, they didn't allow it because I was not working. I was doing nothing actually. I couldn't provide for the girl, okay? So if you're saying like, okay, we lose parents actually. You say, okay, my parents, they have money now. They can help me if I get to the state of maybe pregnanting that lady, because you can even pregnant your lady at the age of 12 right now. So don't take it like, because we're still young, we can do that. It happens. Some, they get pregnant at 9. So what you need to do right now is just keep yourself focused on school. I need to ask you parents to, when your kids get to the age of 17 and 18, please let them make choices on themselves. Not bad choices actually, but you need to enlighten them. Because when I was 18, what they told me was you hold your future in your hands. So if you won't use it well, it'll get you in trouble. So it got me in trouble. And it's not that I have a child actually. The child was aborted on the influence of the other side, not my side, and then not my parents' side.
Right.
So they aborted it. So from that time on, I learned my lesson. I focused on school, and then the good thing is Mr. John Taguma took me to start a job once I applied. After finishing school, I didn't stay home searching for a job. No, I didn't do that. Right. I was lucky because I learned my lesson. So if you won't learn your lesson right now, you won't be lucky. You might not be lucky.
Right.
It happens by chance.
Right.
So please don't take that hard of, okay, we're from the internet age. Nah, don't take it.
Right.
Do school first. Right. And listen to your parents.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, that really cements this whole day of sessions, and maybe just to say that the children are asking, thank you for the parents that have been here, thank you for the fathers that have been here. Some fathers will say, "Abitemaya, a situation like this, we appreciate you, we appreciate the panelists," and at the same time, the children are asking, yes, education, but our bodies as well, they need fun, and where can we get that? The fun that is right, the fun that is, well, because we can just speak about education and education. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, and we would like to invite the Reverend Pastor Chira, who's going now to give us a perspective of the church and God's perspective in all these things. And we appreciate you all. When it's done, just wrapping it up, and then we'll wrap it up, and there will be a couple of snacks at the back there. Thank you. Pastor Resident. Pastor Chilwa, we are resident pastor at the Baptist Church, where everybody's somebody and the children are somebody. Thank you.
Should we move this to the front? You are right here.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, let me say thanks to the organizers of this teen parents debate. And thanks our anchor. You've done a great job. Let's give her a round of applause. Let me thank the Mibawa Television, creativity that dazzles. Indeed, thanks for sponsoring this program, and I'm sure this debut experience may actually be the start of greater things to come. So let's give a round of applause to Mibawa Television. Let me also say thanks to our daring teenagers. Give yourselves a round of applause. We thank you for your honesty. We thank you for your inquiring minds. And thanks also for our parents who were here to give answers to your questions, and they are not easy questions, and there are no cut and dried answers in some instances, and but they did their best, and so let's give them also a round of applause. So I'll not respond in a particular order, but I'll just start with the last point that was brought here. I'm not going to give biblical answers because that will be a long short. But I'm just going to respond, just make statements that kind of will wrap up what we have learned, and so that we grow from whatever we have dealt with. So I'll start with the last point, which was dating. I just want to make some statements about that. That we learned that dating is a process in which you discover whether this person is a suitable person for marriage. Ultimately, that's where it is leading to. And so, I want to say that dating is not and should not be a priority if you are still in school. Let me say that when you are 18 and you are dating, it is unwise because emotionally you're not ready. Psychologically, which is also linked to almost saying the same thing, you're not ready. Physiologically, you're not ready. So, if you jump into a relationship and yet you are not ready, you may find yourself being bruised big time. There's a program that is aired on another channel where there's a question that comes with every interviewee. And the question is, have you ever cried over someone? And the answer is always, or almost always, yes. Okay? Now, these are adults that are interviewed. But from your own experience, from what you heard about rejection, the question is, can you handle rejection? And the question was posed, and it was evident from your responses that, well, analo depression, this is not bueno. You know, and you know what you're talking about because your peers went through a very difficult time because they were not ready to handle things like that. And so you want to handle things that you can manage, but if you want to handle things that are too hot for you, then you're just going to be burned for nothing. And so that's why we're saying you need to apply wisdom. You need to grow. And let me emphasize this. Wisdom comes with age. Somebody said, no, it doesn't come with age. It does, actually. So the more you grow and learn from the experience of yourselves and others, that's where wisdom is received. Now, let me also say this. If wisdom is just learning from your own personal experiences, then you'll be bruised a lot. As a matter of fact, some of those experiences are fatal. It can cause you to die. You can just decide, I want to see how it feels about this, but you never know its consequences, and could be so dire that there's no recovery from it. So you want to avoid learning from your own mistakes, because wisdom is learning from other people's mistakes. You're able to look at how they went and what happened. And from that experience, I'm not going to go that particular route. That is what wisdom is about. So, you want to learn from a wide experience. What have others gone through? Then that helps you. So, it is important that you are careful about going about things that you're not ready for. I've talked about that it's not a priority. What is your priority right now? Your priority is getting an education. Getting an education prepares you for the future. Now, not everybody will be an academic, but even if you go into sports, how you're going to manage your finances if you're a billionaire has to do with education. Hello? So, if you want to go into music, that's fine. But how you're going to manage your business requires some education. So, the education is the base. And you need to prioritize that. When you are through with this, then you can go into the other things that, you know, are age appropriate for you. Secondly, let me talk about the issue of church. There was an issue about we are being forced to church. You know, the very same things that you can do on your own are available at church. So why should we go to church? I need to respond to that. You see, learning the word of God on your own, like reading the Bible on your own, is not the same as somebody who has trained and they have the knowledge of how to interpret that word in a balanced way to address a particular issue, and of course the many issues. So it's possible for you to read the Bible on your own, and actually we encourage you to do that. But to do that minus learning from what others are saying, you will end up being led astray. This is how cults start. Somebody believes that all that they are learning is truth and nothing else, and then they go off tangent. They do ridiculous things, and you think, how could so and so do this? But because they followed self-deception, that whatever they are reading is true. It is important that you always check it out. Is what is being taught, is what I've read, is this a correct interpretation? Even if it's a sermon, you still need to what? To check it out. So The advantage that you have with church is that the pastor knows his congregation. He knows the needs. It's just like a shepherd. A shepherd knows the needs of his sheep. So he knows what to give them at what time. I was teaching I think it was last Sunday, where I said that every sermon has a purpose. It can be an evangelistic sermon. It is helping you to know Jesus Christ as your Lord and as your Savior. It can be a devotional sermon where it is helping you to know, to have love for God and to serve Him. It might be an ethical sermon which talks about right and wrong things, or right behavior and wrong behavior. It might be a motivational sermon where we are trying to make you move or advance to a certain actions that are good for you. It may be something to do with comfort. Maybe you've gone through depression or any other sorrow. You need to be comforted. So through that balance, you are able to have a balanced meal, as opposed to just having one thing at a time. Because the truth is, we all follow our hobby horses. Say, whoever I like, I'll go by that person. But whoever I like does not necessarily bring me a balanced meal. And so it is important that we have a balanced meal. There's a lot of things that you can learn from church. Because there are people who think, why do we go to church? Just to worship. After worship, then what? But there's a lot of things, a host of things that you can learn from church. The Bible, although it is an ancient book, it is ever relevant and it is contemporary in its application in every setting. You learn about work from church. You learn about education from church. You learn about rest from church. You learn about values, excellence, productivity, dependability, customer-centered approach to life, attitude, issues to do with politics, forgiveness, responsibility. All these, a whole host of things are there in the Bible. And so it is important that you learn these things. You sit under some authority and learn, rather than just say, I can do all these things by myself, because you will not be able to do justice to that. And so there's just a host of things that you can learn from church. The issue of being forced, let me address that. There was this issue being drummed into us to say, we are forcing. Let me say this to you, young people especially, that don't see negativity in being forced. Maybe you didn't get me right. Let me say that again. Do not see negativity in everything that is being forced. Why do I say that? I have a very good reason. If my parents did not force me to eat vegetables, health-wise, I would have been very weak. If my parents did not force me to visit family members, then I would not have learned how to relate to people. If my parents did not force me to go to school, I would be uneducated. If my parents didn't force me to do chores at home, then I would be a very irresponsible person. I would be a spoiled brat. I would be fired in employment. I would be abusive. Why? Because these things were never demanded of me. So there's nothing wrong with being forced in certain things. There's positivity, as a matter of fact, in being forced. Certain things that were forced upon me, then I cursed them, but now I bless them. So there are certain things that you will not be able to bless your parents for now, because you can't see the perspective where they are coming from. But later on, you will bless them. You will say, thanks, parents, because you did this for me. I am now where I am. And the parents are clapping hands because they've experienced it. So you will have your turn. Later on, now you will understand, oh, so this is why they forced me to do this. This is why they forced. So I want to say to you that not everything that is being forced upon you should be seen with negative eyes. No. There are certain things that are of value, even in pushing them, demanding them from you. They are important because they are shaping you. And whatever you become is a result of the demands or the forcing or the persuasion that is coming upon you, because these things ultimately will shape you to be where you are. There's no way a footballer can be a great footballer if they don't exercise. And it is imperative. There's no way a musician can be a great musician without practice. It's imperative. You have to do it. And if you're under a mentor, they will force you. This is how you do it. This is how you do it, until you get it. So there are certain things that will be forced upon you. Don't look at them with negativity. Thank God for those things, because although you don't appreciate them now, later on you will remember Pastor Chira said this, and you'll be thankful. So it is important that you see these things in this particular way. A social gathering like a wedding or a funeral is not the same as a church gathering, because a church gathering has particular purposes. A church has purposes. It's right here. Fellowship, discipleship, service, worship, outreach. Okay, now we need time to expound these things, but if you are a regular here at Blantyre Baptist Church, we've been trying to expound this because this is our theme for the year, second year running. But what am I saying? What I'm saying is there's benefits that you can get in a church setting which you will not get at any other social gathering, because the purposes are different. Very important to know. There are certain things about the phone. Again, there's issues of trust and responsibility. These have to be weighed side by side. There is a time when a phone is not helpful for you, and therefore it must be withdrawn from you, or it must not be even handed out to you, because it is not helpful. It will just be a distraction to you. But there's a time when a phone is helpful for you. Now, what I'm saying is not a phone is a bad thing. A phone is a good thing. But within it, depending on usage, you can use it to grow. You can also use it to destroy yourself. For those of you who watch maybe international news, there's a lot of killings that are happening in the US. And if you find out from the young men who will use guns and so on, you go to the internet, you will see what they've been watching. It's influence of internet. So you may underestimate it here, but in other places it's really bad. And therefore, you need to be protected from exposing yourselves to certain things that are going to be harmful for you. And so if your parents are putting their foot down on certain things, they know better. They are not just there to kill fun for you. No. We want you to, you are young, we're also young. We enjoyed fun, we also want you to enjoy fun. But we want to enjoy it responsibly, so that at the end of the day, you don't mess yourself up. So there are certain things that are allowable, certain things that can be withheld because of good reasons. So it is important that you look into that. There's an issue about makeup and so on. I can't produce a verse to address that. But what I can say is there's nothing wrong with looking good. Okay? We all want to look good. And so if makeup enhances your beauty, that's fine. But if it's a camouflage, then it's a different thing. Because what happens when you don't have makeup, it means you'll be depressed because you believe that I'm no good without this. So I want to latch on to what was said here, that it's something that enhances beauty. And of course the motive for it is important. If the motive is of self-interest or simply getting at somebody, seducing somebody, then it's bad. But makeup on its own is not a bad thing. Okay? And at the right time, for the right reasons, it can be employed. So for those of you who have believed that maybe you are nothing without makeup, let me say to you, the Bible says, I am